Good morning, viewers. Thank you for tuning in with us today. Today is World Tourism Day, and welcome across the Caribbean, Trinidad and Tobago, all our viewers, for tuning in to Book Club Corner. I am Jewel Greene, and today we have with us a fantastic author. Her name is Wendy Yawching. Did I say the surname?
Wendy Yawching.
Yawching. You have to get it right. And she is here with us to talk about her book, The Courage to Fly. And Wendy has a lot of accolades. She's the first of many, many things in Trinidad and Tobago. She's the first female jet captain for our national airline. She's the first woman to walk the trail of the Mt Everest, right? And she said she's going to explain, because there's a difference. You can't just say she was on, she walked Mount Everest. We have to explain it. So she's going to take us through that. But I want to thank you all for tuning in with us. And before we get into Wendy and her story and her book, The Courage to Fly, we have to have some brunch on Book Club Corner. We always get some wine. And this here is from Sweet Hand Wines. We're going to be sampling. This is aloes wine today.
This is why I came.
And we do the 5 S's of wine tasting. So we see the wine, we look at the clarity, we swirl the wine, and we look at the legs, sugar content, and then we sniff the wine.
And then we fall over.
No, we sip and we save. But that's a good one. That's a good one. I'm going to add that one. And this is aloes wine, guys. This is a little drier than we usually get from Sweet Hand. And I love dry wine. So, Sweet Hand, you're doing me justice here today. I really like this one. But we love this aloes wine. It's really delicious. And let me take another sip, because, the first time I didn't get it right.
Can I try again too?
Of course. Thank you so much, Sweet Hand Wines, my good friend in Canaan. That's Gemma. She is a fantastic vintner. That's a winemaker. She does local wines, and we want to thank you for sponsoring us today. And we want to get into this book because we don't want to miss any time. Today's World Tourism Day, guys. And imagine we have a former pilot with us today. And I wanted to talk to her because, COVID, I know COVID hit a lot of persons, but we know places and destinations that were dependent on tourism for the revenue really got hit, as well as the people who work in the airline industry. And I'm bringing that full circle for the purpose of talking about what you discussed in this book, which was, don't be afraid to pivot. Don't be afraid to find another dream. Don't be afraid to change your mind about something that you're doing. And I really like that. That is something in your book. And for COVID persons who got hit by COVID, their jobs, their revenues, we had to kind of rethink, what are we doing? Is what I'm doing where I want to be? This is my opportunity to, if I don't want to be here, make a change. Tell us about, one, how you had the courage to make a change in your life, to pivot from doing computer studies, right? And go into being a pilot.
You have opened up so many doors in there with with that little introduction, build up, and question. Would you mind if I do a multi-part answer?
Of course not. We love when the authors talk about all sorts of things.
I have to put down my wine so I can wave my hands around.
Of course.
Okay, so you mentioned COVID.
Yeah.
I wrote this book because of COVID. Because during COVID, so many of us lost things. We lost we lost health sometimes, we lost people who we loved, we lost jobs, we lost money, we lost courage, we lost the confidence to believe that the path you were on could survive in the new world after COVID.
Yes.
And I was surrounded by the negativity of the people that were finding these things really challenging. And I thought, how can I help? Because that's my mission now since I stopped flying, is to help people change their lives. So how can I help? Because the energy is all negative. What can I do to change people's minds about what's happening and let them see that there's always a a door that you can walk through that brings a new future that might actually be a good future. And I thought, I've been putting off writing this book for so long. Yes. People have been begging me to write it, and not writing a book. I thought, I have a story that if I share it, it will inspire people. Yes. And so, because of COVID, I wrote The Courage to Fly in order to help people believe that they can dream again. Yeah. And that's really the reason why this book was born. Now, you're asking me about myself pivoting?
Yes.
During COVID, I also pivoted because my post-flying career was one where I went out into people's homes and I helped them with designing their homes as per Feng Shui, which is what I do as well now.
You're a master.
I'm a master consultant.
The first female Feng Shui master for Trinidad and Tobago.
First Feng Shui master in the Caribbean.
Really?
Resident in the Caribbean. And so I was going into people's homes and I was teaching workshops with people in front of me, live workshops to help them to recognize what they could do in their homes to help with the energy and the balance and all that. And of course, with COVID, all that crashed. Poof! There went everything. So I had to pivot as well. I had to learn to trust that I could reach my people and share the messages online, which I'd never wanted to do before. I was always very uncomfortable in front of a camera, and I was always very uncomfortable on social media. But COVID made it impossible to do without. Yes. So I went and I decided I was going to embrace it at last, and I started studying and did courses on social media and marketing, on presenting my workshops online and really, with impact. And I got really good at it, but it was because of COVID. So I used the time of COVID when we were locked down to improve my skills for the new future. And now I wouldn't go back to only personal stuff. I will do both because I have the skills, and I've realized because I've learned the new skills, I can reach people all over the world now.
Yes.
So that, there's always a silver lining, no matter how dark it looks.
That's one thing about that a theme that runs through your entire book.
Yes.
The silver lining. And not just a silver lining, in terms of you being a pilot and flying, right? But just in terms of your life, how life may take you to different places. You have to now find that dream, find that spark again and come back again, right? And reading your book, there were so many different things that hit me. I'm a woman. We're looking at some themes, some barriers, glass ceilings. We're looking at how we into different industries, STEM and STEAM, whether, we have that place and space in those spaces, and I was just blown away really by how vast an audience this book would touch in terms of men, women. It crosses all barriers, just like you have done in terms of crossing barriers and breaking them, as a matter of fact. And I want you to take us into, because we love to be read, so we're gonna get into the book. But I want you to take us into a specific train of thought. Take us mentally into where you got that decisiveness, right? That impetus to say, I'm gonna become a pilot. I have had this dream all along, and this is definite. I'm going to do it. What was that moment for you?
I speak to the little girls and women who had families like mine, where you were told girls did this and boys did that. Now, this was a long time ago and things have changed, but at the same time, there are still situations and cultures where women are groomed in certain directions and men or boys are groomed in another. I was fighting the current of the people around me until I was in my mid-20s. I never believed I could be a pilot because all the messages around me were that girls didn't do that. Nobody would ever hire a female pilot. This was long ago. Now I know it's normal, but at that time, it was not happening. So I didn't change. My belief system didn't change. I had the dream and the desire, but my belief system did not change until I was in my mid-20s. And then because of the experiences I had at university where I was meeting people from all over the world who were following their dreams, I was, well, why can't I? And that's my eureka moment. Yes. And from then on, it wasn't a matter of if I would be a pilot, it was going to be how long it's going to take and how am I going to get there? Because I had no support, no money, nothing but the dream and the passion. And that took a long time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's a word in your book, right? A Japanese word for that. I hope I'm going to say it right. It's what? Ikichi? Am I saying it right?
It's Ikigai.
Ikigai, right? I practiced, but it didn't help. And
it's like Yawching. It's hard.
Yeah, that word really spoke to me. I'll tell you why. And I'm sure when you read this book, get this book, guys. Could you put up on screen that that graphic of her book as well as the graphic about her as well, and all the things, the wonderful things she's done. But get this book, guys, because this book will break any barrier you have, right? You're hearing a lot of words from, from society. Don't, can't, that's not for you. But we don't want you to do that. Get this book. It's really going to help you. And when I was reading your book, it talked about that thing that wakes you up early in the morning, that thing that keeps you up late at night, not from worry, but passion.
From passion.
Right? Yeah. You can do this all day long, right? You're never tired, you're never hungry, you're not complaining, the sun is never too hot. And that's the kind of thing we want to get into as human beings. We want to tap into that space where it is that passion, that flow all the time. Just you living off of this dream and this thing that's flowing inside of you because you've connected with that thing that you always were to be.
And you got it.
Yeah.
You got it. I have to say though, you don't have to have only one passion.
Yes.
Flying was my major passion, and it was one passion that I lived to the max, and I loved it. But I've always had other passions. Mm-hmm. Dancing is a passion of mine. Yes. Outdoor activity, nature, hiking is another passion. And now I have Feng Shui as a passion. Yes. And I'm doing the environmental program for the kids in Tobago, by the way, that's going on now.
And you're doing something this evening.
I'm doing something after this show. I go up to the bush and with the youngsters. So I believe that Ikigai is something that fuels your heart. It's the path with heart for you. Mm-hmm. And you can have more than one. What's really sad and hard to understand is when people don't know what the Ikigai is. Yes. And I hope that this book will help you recognize that you have one. You just need to find it. And once you find it, don't let anything stop you.
Well, that's the beautiful thing about this Ikigai, about your passion. Once you tap into it, nobody can stop you.
Correct.
It is literally like you've been put on this fast track.
You're on fire.
Yeah. You're really on this fast track where you have to get it done. It's like, oh, finally. And I believe that we are human beings. That's what we came to do. Connect with that Ikigai. Connect with that passion.
I do too.
So if you're here, guys, and you're wondering, what is my passion? What is your Ikigai? That's your job. That's your work. To figure out what it is, to listen to your inner self, and really tap into that. Don't let the noise of other people's conversation stop you from trying to figure out that passion that you have.
Can I clap?
I want to clap.
She's got it. She's saying it perfectly.
Yeah, it is something that's going to fuel the rest of your life. And it is, it's unfortunate that that's not how because there are people out there, that's how they've been living, right? From childhood. But it's unfortunate that isn't everybody's story. Right. But that does not mean that it can't be your story today. From today, let me tell you, this is your turning point, right? We don't want to get preachy, right? But this is your turning point. You're here for a reason. You're tuning into Book Club Corner for a reason. Get that book, The Courage to Fly. We're here with Wendy Yawching, and we're talking about the courage to find your dream, connect with passion. We'll be back, guys, shortly. And we're back with Wendy Yawching and her book, The Courage to Fly. We're having some delicious aloes wine from Sweet Hand Wines. Let me tell you, this says it all. Cheers. We're having a really good time today. We're heading into the second phase of this book, having a conversation about this book. And one of the things I noticed that is running through your book, right, is, yes, that theme of courage, that theme of finding a dream, finding a passion, connecting with it. But you had some negative voices as well talking to you, right? Your family, society telling you, flying, yeah, go, where you going, right? You should sit down home and make some children, find a nice guy and settle down, bake some cookies and some cupcakes and do all of those delicious things that, you know, they think we do all the time. But how did you transcend? How did you get over it? And I know you wrote about your leaving home, leaving Trinidad and Tobago, but how did you kind of detox from that kind of negative, you know, coming at you? No, don't do that. That's not for you. What was it for you?
First of all, I believe I've been pig-headed since day one. So when I focus on something, I tend to see the destination and not the journey. I didn't focus on the possibility of becoming a pilot until I was in my mid-20s, because that's when I had my eureka moment. But once I focused on that, Jewel, I didn't have to detox because I was focused. I didn't even hear them.
I love it.
My journey just unfolded, and there were many hills and valleys to go through. I was busy. So no, it didn't matter what people said. Once I believed I could do it, once I felt the surety that this was for me, my dream was waiting for me, what people said didn't matter.
Yes.
And it still doesn't matter. I've lived that all the rest of my life, and that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
All right? Really long time ago. So now I choose things based on how they matter, how they make me feel in my heart.
Yes.
It's a path with heart that I follow, whatever I do. And then it doesn't matter what other people think.
When did that sound? Let me tell you, I identified so much with what you just said. You choose where the energy is flowing. That's where you go, you know? And I love that. I'm stealing this, A busy. What going on? What you doing? You're doing a busy. We're busy drinking wine. We're busy talking today about dreams, passions. Let me tell you, it is a full circle moment. Welcome to Tobago Updates Book Club Corner. If you've never been here before,
stay.
Yeah, every Wednesday we're here on Tobago Updates talking about books with authors, literary arts, how they feel about the books, what they love about words and about writing. And we want to talk about this. She's going to read to us, she's not getting away. But she has on her book, Amazon bestseller. Let me tell you, our authors love to read that. Tell us about what happened in terms of getting your book. If you self-published, if you went traditional publication route, how did you get to become an Amazon bestseller?
Remember those courses I told you about?
Yes.
One of them was how to create and promote and launch your book. And so I paid my dues and I did the course. And as part of the course, I went through what they suggested to become an Amazon bestseller. Because otherwise I had no clue.
Yes.
None at all. Because I did choose to self-publish and I had no idea how to do that.
Yes.
I learned how to do that with guidance from coaches. And I'm not ashamed. I'll do it again with coaches. Yeah.
Guys out there, ladies out there, you hear what she said? She invested in herself because she was doing self-publication. What do I tell you all the time? If you're going the self-publication route, you're going to have some work to do. You're going to have to market your book, right? And I am into book marketing, right? I'm a literary publicist. And I talk to people, you can't just write a book and go to sleep.
No.
Right? It's not going to sell itself. Wendy became an Amazon best-selling author because she decided to invest in herself and make sure she understood how to market her book, right? And kudos to you. Because a lot of people think, the hard work is writing the book. Yes. And then what? It's just going to magically fly into the hands of my readers. I'm going to connect with them because, I'm so passionate about... No, we have to do some work. Okay, guys? So remember what Miss Wendy just said? Get yourself skilled and tooled up so you can market your book properly and get it out there to readers so people can get... You see how her book is really reaching people? She has a passion, she has a dream, she put it in this book, she talks about it, and it is a #1 Amazon bestseller. What we want to talk about now, because, and I keep pushing back the reading, but there's so many good things in here to talk about. So when you became this Amazon bestseller and you did all of these things to upskill, the next thing we wanted to talk about really and truly was how did you connect with the readers and what was their response to your book?
The reviews have been fantabulous. I have had, people would look at this book and think, a good one for the young folks, the youth. And yes, it's a great one for the youth to be inspired and motivated and believe that in the distance, they can achieve whatever they want. Yeah. But I've had people from all over the world and all ages, men as well as women, respond and tell me, this book changed my life. This book, I've been going through a tough time. I had, my children have left and my nest is empty. I didn't know what to do with myself. You made me believe I can do something else now. I'm going through a divorce or illness. This book gave me hope. There's a future that is brighter than I could imagine if I just stay the course and find now what's important for me to go forward with. I had a guy in his 70s, he was 78, tell me how this book inspired him to revisit things that he hadn't done yet in his life before he felt that his time would disappear. Yeah. He was so happy that he read my book and now he's going to go back and do the things he didn't do in his youth.
You're never too old.
You're never too old. This book made him realize that.
I love
that. So it's a book that inspires you to get moving and start dreaming and then start walking. Because if you don't start walking, you're never going to fly.
Oh my gosh, y'all. I'm stealing that too. If you never start working, you're never going to fly. I'm stealing.
Steal away.
We're busy. We're too busy to hear the negativity. We're too busy for the chatter. We're too busy for all of that.
You don't even hear it.
We about our business, right? Let me tell you. So Wendy has in her book some special free bonus gifts. And reading this book, listen, Wendy giving away real things in here. Real things that you need to get this book. There's a special gift bonus, resources. There's the ultimate energy vision board experience in the book as well. And Wendy is a master Feng Shui. Let me tell you, she's doing the do. First female jet captain. First woman to walk the trails of Mt Everest. Right? Well, you can see to the base camp. You can read it there, guys. And she is a board member of the International Feng Shui Guild. Let me tell you, if you're looking for inspiration, look no further, guys. Right here. And she has resources in this book. So if you get this book, there are a lot of things in this book that you can get. I saw you have a journal. You also have a program that a person, if they wanted to, walk with someone, work with someone, walk with them to get, themselves ready for the next phase of life, for the pivot, right? You also have that in there so you can tap into it.
Yes,
Tell me about that and then we're going to read.
Okay, so I offer mentoring to people who, like me, didn't believe they could. If they would like to have me as their mentor and guide, I have a program where they can join me and I will help them along the way towards making those steps, starting to walk. The Energy Vision Board workshop, that is a Feng Shui workshop that I developed several years ago. And I find it aligns so beautifully with people finding their dreams because what it does, it helps you focus in and find what's in your heart and express it in your vision board. Yes. It's very powerful. So it goes beautifully with the book. So I offer it with the book.
And so we're heading into the best part. She's going to be reading first. Dreams do come true. I want you to just read a portion of that and we're going to be wrapping up with this reading.
I have to put on the little specs. Hold on. Okay. So everyone who's watching, I would like you to close your eyes and just listen to my voice. The name of this chapter is Dreams Do Come True. It's 3 a.m. I am wide awake at 33,000 feet, suspended in velvet blackness, looking down at the sleeping world below. Around me are the quiet noises of a big jet airplane at cruise. Multicolored lights subtly dimmed, the gentle tremble of a metal giant powering through the night sky. We are about to cross the eastern seaboard and head out across the ocean in an almost straight line for the Caribbean and home. To my right, the first officer quietly responds to air traffic control, logging our progress through the skies. Straight ahead, we see the flash and fire of a distant thunderstorm. We'll need to ask for deviation around that one. To the left, I catch my reflection on the cockpit pane superimposed upon the dark skies. I gaze beyond and down at the sparkling city below, jewels in the blackness, and then at the shimmer of the moonlit sea ahead. I catch my breath because it's all so darned beautiful, so ethereal, that I feel this is as close to heaven as I can be and still be alive. In fact, and here's something I couldn't tell anyone while I was actively flying airplanes, but I can admit now that I'm retired, sometimes I felt as though I could happily die right there at 33,000 feet in the middle of the night because I was in heaven already. My heart, my soul love these magnificent, magical night flights. My body, not at all. By the time I fall into my own bed, the sun will have been up for 3 hours. I will have been awake for 16, at least 10 of those performing my duties as captain, staying alert, focused, responsive, and responsible through the night, while 150 passengers sleep, knowing that whatever happens along the way, all eyes look to me to save the situation. Mm-hmm. The buck stops here in the left seat of this jet.
And we stop there, guys. Precious, precious words. You know, I just want to leave this with you. Wherever you are in life, whatever you're doing, you're never too late, you're never too old. Follow your dreams. We're here with Wendy Yawching, the courage to fly, and you today can find your courage to fly, whether it is liquid courage in some aloes wine. Cheers, Wendy. As we close off and we head over back to Miss J with Brunch. We want to thank you for tuning in with us another Wednesday. Tuning in next week Wednesday when we talk to yet another local author about their love of the literary arts and the written word. See you.